and telling the king where we stand. I could not write this statement myself because I had to be the president of the Congress. So I appointed a committee. Who knows what a committee is? Peter.
A bunch of people kind of come together to do something.
A few people get together to do some work together. Well, the work I needed them to do was to write this important statement that we would send to the king and to the whole world. Well, who would I put on there? I took the best men in the Continental Congress. First, I took Benjamin Franklin. Who could be Benjamin Franklin? And then I also had to have John Adams, my friend from Boston. I also needed someone, with reddish hair, from Virginia, Mr. Thomas Jefferson. Now I had to have a man of the cloth, a religious man, so I invited Roger Sherman to be with us on the committee. And finally, the smartest lawyer in town, Mr. Robert Livingston. Thank you, Robert, for serving on our committee. Now, I would like the committee to write an important document. So, this document will be a statement to the world. Please, go to work. Well, like good rebels that they were, as soon as they got together, they began to argue. Thomas Jefferson said to John Adams, he said, "John Adams, I believe you should write the first draft of this important document." John Adams says, "No, Thomas, you should write the first draft of this document." Thomas says, he said, "John, why won't you write this document?" And John said, "I have my reasons. Nobody likes me. Because they don't like me, no one will vote for it if I write it. You, Thomas, everyone likes you. You should write it. Besides, you're from Virginia, and that declaration needs to come from a Virginian." So Thomas Jefferson agreed. He would write the document. He goes to his room and he begins to write. He wrote all day, and what he had written, you see, this is what the document ended up looking like. He wrote all of this from here down to the end in one day. It was a list of complaints, and I'll tell you about them later. It was a list of complaints against the king. The king had treated us unfairly, and because he had been unfair, we wanted to write down each thing he had done that was not right. Well, that took just one day. Now Thomas Jefferson wrote for 16 more days, just so that he could put together the first 2 paragraphs of this declaration. It was more difficult to write because he needed to put together ideas from different places to explain, what do we stand for? What kind of country do we want to be? What do we believe in as a country? And so he took ideas from the ancient Roman Republic. He had studied the Roman Republic, and he wrote some ideas from there. He also had studied the people who lived in Europe and in England, called the Anglo-Saxons. In the Dark Ages, they lived there, and they elected their leaders, just like we do in our country. He wanted to include some of that. But most of all, what he wanted to include were God's ideas. He had studied the Bible, and he found that in the Bible, when God told the Israelites, the house of Israel, how to have a government, he talked to Moses, and he told Moses, you should govern the people in a certain way. And then later on, when they got a king, it didn't work as well. But at first, when they had government the way God said, they were a good country, a successful country. And so he tried to incorporate that in here as well. And so the first